All right, good evening. I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. We're not talking about Texas right now. We're actually going to be talking about something outside of the state. I want to make that abundantly clear. The weather coverage we're about to do is for areas outside of Texas. We do not have any ongoing severe weather in the state of Texas at this time. We may have a few severe thunderstorms later this evening and overnight as Crashy the cold front comes on down to visit, but I want to make it clear we are not expecting what is ongoing further east in the Mid South up into portions of Missouri, Illinois, and eventually Indiana tonight. And that's a full fledged tornado outbreak. We now have multiple tornadic supercells underway, producing what are likely strong, long lived, long track tornadoes. So I want to talk about what we have going on at the moment. And that again is the ongoing tornado outbreak. Now, let's go ahead and focus from north to south. We've got thunderstorms in Illinois. We have a line of tornadic supercells approaching the St. Louis metropolitan area. I want to take a look at those. Let me go ahead and switch data here. Switch off radars. Now, this is going to be a tornado warning for the western areas of the St. Louis metro. It does not currently include the city of St. Louis proper. That's probably going to change here in a bit. We've actually got a tornado down just south of the National Weather Service in St. Louis. The green dot here, the cone of silence, otherwise known as the cone of shame if you have a pet, south of Weldon Spring, west of Clarkson Valley, southwest of Chesterfield. Switch over to the which way the wind is blowing mode. Again, it may not look impressive, but unfortunately it does. Where you see the reds touching the greens, that's not good, especially when it's literally 2 miles away from the radar site. A dangerous tornado is passing very near the St. Louis Weather Service office right now. And this tornado is moving northeast at about 55 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and there we go. I want to look. Wind's moving away from the radar, literally 2 miles away from the radar, 80 to 90 miles per hour, moving towards the radar at about 30, 110 mile per hour gate to gate circulation, 2 miles south of the National Weather Service in St. Louis, if that. Near Weldon Spring, moving towards western Chesterfield. We'll switch over to the debris mode. And, I mean, typically, when you're this close to the radar, you can't see anything, but I think that's pretty clear cut. In combination or in conjunction with the very strong rotation signature, head over to reflectivity, and yeah, you've got a rain wrapped, what's an obvious tornado. And again, this is in the western metro of St. Louis. Let me go ahead and clear the telestration. Zoom back out. You can see this is just west of the St. Louis metro. These storms are moving east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. They are flying. So this is going to be an issue for the St. Louis metro within 30 minutes. Again, tornado down south of Weldon Springs, west of Chesterfield, moving towards the northwest side of the St. Louis metro. Westwood, Maryland Heights, Ferguson, Pine Lawn, University City, Florissant, St. Charles. You're under a tornado warning, and be advised, there's a tornado down. Okay, let's go further southwest. Again, his storm southwest or south of Steelville, Missouri, moving towards DeSoto, eventually the Mississippi River. That's likely to become tornadic in the next 30 minutes. Farther southwest in the southwest St. Louis, we have a tornado warning, confirmed tornado at that, just north of Branson, Missouri. We'll switch over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Yeah, you can see that right there. We've got gate-to-gate circulation. Pink there touching the green. Again, this is going to be north of Branson, Missouri. I'll turn the little super duper fancy spatial tool on. Is going to be about 9 to 10 miles northeast of Branson. Look at that scan. You see how quick that just updated? That's how fast these storms are moving. They're moving 60 to 70 miles an hour. So again, tornado confirmed about probably 10 miles north of Branson, Missouri, moving northeast at 60 to 70 miles per hour. Let's go ahead. Let me turn the distance tool off. We're going to go down. We're just going from north to south. We've got a tornado warning just south of Fayetteville, Arkansas. This storm's already out of the tornado warning, so I guess they're not going to reissue it. Some rotation. Wouldn't be shocked if it goes warned again. We've got a plethora of tornado warnings just northeast of Little Rock, a line of pearls up through Searcy, Arkansas, up to Newport, Tuckerman. Let's go ahead. We'll look at the velocity. Again, all these storms are moving northeast 60 to 70 miles an hour, and they don't have to stop at stoplights, intersections, traffic accidents, etc. One tornado warning coming up to Newport, Arkansas. Second tornado warning now just southeast of Searcy, Arkansas. Have a tornado warning just northeast of Little Rock proper, just northeast of the Weather Service in Little Rock. This is going to be for a storm just north of Jacksonville, Arkansas. All these are moving east-northeast at 50 to 60 miles an hour. This could be a relatively dangerous situation for the Memphis metro here in an hour or two, as the tornado threat is expected to continue well into the night. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing up here, but we have a tornado emergency. This storm here, this is a tornado emergency for Denton, make sure it's Arkansas. Denton, Arkansas. Steele, Arkansas. This is going to be a tornado emergency. A confirmed large, violent tornado is on the ground, producing potentially catastrophic damage. I know the velocity looks mumble-jumbled on here. There's your debris ball. Again, this has been a long-lived, violent tornado that has shown at times gate-to-gate circulation over 200 miles per hour. This is likely a very high-end tornado, at least at times, capable of causing great destruction and injury to those who do not take it seriously. That's a debris ball just east of Rives, Arkansas, moving towards Steele, and then eventually perhaps Haiti, Arkansas. And then, I'm not even going to try and say this name because I'd mess it up, and I'm not in the mood to mess it up. But again, large, violent, destructive tornado is down. And this is coming up on Steele, Arkansas. This is a dangerous situation with a tornado emergency in place. At 7:51 p.m., a confirmed large and destructive tornado is located near Hornsville, or 7 miles north of Gosnell, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Tornado emergency for southern Dunklin County, Arkansas, and Pemscott County, including Denton, Arkansas, and Steele, Arkansas. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. Hazard, deadly tornado. To repeat, a large and extremely dangerous tornado is on the ground moving towards Steele, Arkansas. A large, extremely dangerous, and potentially deadly tornado at that. To protect your life, take cover now. Again, this is a potentially catastrophic tornado moving northeast at 50 miles per hour, capable of producing catastrophic damage. So again, tornado emergency for Steele, Arkansas. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind is blowing mode, and it may be so strong the radar can't tell which direction, but now you kind of get the gist. Those of you who have watched our severe weather coverage for a long time know we've got big problems when we have winds moving away from the radar and towards the radar in such a violent fashion. Let's go ahead and probe the data. Winds moving away from the radar in Memphis, 100 miles per hour. Winds moving towards the radar in Memphis, 80 miles an hour. We have a gate-to-gate circulation in very close proximity of 184 miles per hour. Switch over to the debris mode on the radar. And when we say donut hole, we've described before when you're looking for a debris signature on this product, you kind of look for a blue donut hole surrounded by red. This is a product that is able to determine within close proximity, objects. Are they the same size? Are they not? In this case, we're looking to see if or seeing raindrops, hailstones, etc. When you look within a very small bin of data, they generally are the same size. When you have tornado debris, it's all sorts of different shapes, sizes, leaves, tree limbs, in this case, possibly whole houses. It's not good when you see such a pronounced debris signature. In fact, and this is how hard it's raining, this is your classic debris ball. Before the tornado debris product was introduced back in 2012 and 2013, this was the main go-to. If you had a little area of enhanced reflectivity in your hook, that's what we'd call a tornado, or a debris ball, excuse me. Back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. I know the data looks all messed up. This is called anti-aliasing. Essentially, the wind is so strong, the radar is having a hard time determining which way it's blowing. I realize it's not your typical bright red, bright green, but trust me, this is a violent looking signature. This is a violent tornado. Switch back over to the which way the wind, or how hard it's raining mode. I mean, holy cow. I mean, this large violent wedge tornado. You've got very warm, unstable air sucked into the storm right there. You've got your rear flank downdraft likely producing winds in excess of 100 miles an hour on the backside of what is a very large wedge tornado. There's no doubt about it. There's about to be a violent tornado moving across Interstate 55 near or just north of Steele, Arkansas. This is going to be north of the Memphis Metro and well south of St. Louis. Essentially, this is where Interstate 155 near Haiti meets up with Interstate 55. Eventually, this storm's going to be crossing over into far northwest Tennessee, and then eventually is likely to pay a visit into Kentucky. And we note, if this storm continues on its present track, and frankly, I don't see why it won't, I'm just going to draw a straight line. This storm could eventually, in about 3 hours, be a threat to Hopkinsville, Kentucky, perhaps. I think it's going to stay south of Paducah, but again, this is one of these long-lived storms that, frankly, is still probably going to be around 11 p.m. Central Time, 3 hours from now, and it's still probably going to be producing a tornado. The same tornado it has down now? Well, I'd hope not, but, I mean, conditions remain extremely favorable for long-track, significant tornadoes through the evening hours across this portion of Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Missouri, southern Illinois. We've got confirmed tornadoes northeast of Branson. We've got confirmed tornadoes now moving into the west side of the St. Louis Metro. Let's pop back in on this tornado warning. This isn't as well defined of a reflectivity signature as we had down south, that's for sure. We'll switch over to the which way the wind is blowing mode, and frankly, compared to the circulation we had down south, this is much more straight line windy. But I need to stress, we have extremely powerful low-level wind shear up around St. Louis this evening and across portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, eastern Arkansas, I say Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, etc. This is a relatively rare December tornado outbreak, at least this far north. I mean, down in what we refer to as Dixie Alley, you know, the Mid-South around Memphis. Yeah, this far north, I mean, good grief, we've got a confirmed tornado now northwest of Springfield, Illinois, moving towards Lincoln, Illinois. And yeah, that's a pretty good little circulation. So, I mean, you don't normally have tornadoes at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, approaching Lincoln, Illinois 2 weeks before Christmas. I mean, that's just pretty rare. And keep in mind, there's even a chance we could see a brief tornado as far north as Chicago tonight. You want to know why that's amusing in an aspect? Well, here, let me try and zoom out at least. Take a look. We've got a winter storm on the way. I mean, there's a full-on almost blizzard in Minneapolis right now. Heavy snow, 2 to 3 inches an hour. By morning, there's going to be freezing drizzle in Chicago. So the fact they have a threat of a brief tornado tonight followed by winter weather tomorrow morning is rather ridiculous. But you know what? Just learn not to argue with Mother Nature. Just go with the flow. So that's what we have ongoing this evening. A full-on tornado outbreak continues across the Mid-South, north into portions of Illinois, eventually Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois. A line of pearls approaching well, from just northeast of Little Rock, those will be threatening the Memphis metro within 2 hours, 10 p.m. Central. And then, while it's not being shown here because my radar software is being a derp, we've got a large violent tornado approaching Haiti and Steele, Arkansas. Switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Yeah. Switch over to the debris mode. Yeah, there's a large violent tornado there capable of doing extreme damage. And this storm will probably keep putting tornadoes down over the next 100, 200 miles as it moves northeast. So there you go. We're going to have to watch these storms carefully as they, in central Arkansas, as they move towards Memphis. Now, before I let you go, let me go ahead and we'll peek down here into the Arklatex. We've got severe storms just north of the Red River, north of New Boston, up Interstate 30 towards Murfreesboro, Arkansas, Mineral Springs, a bit west of Arkadelphia. These are capable of producing strong winds and hail, no strong signs of low-level rotation, and those storms are moving northeast away from Texas. Within a couple hours or so, we are expecting additional thunderstorms to sort of fill in southwest along a cold front that will be moving south extremely quickly tonight. Some of those storms across East Texas, the Brazos Valley, into southeast Texas overnight and tomorrow morning could produce some damaging straight-line winds, and we can't rule out a brief tornado, but by far the threat for severe weather is far lower here in Texas than it is across the Mid-South, where we have a higher-end severe weather outlook and a full-on tornado outbreak underway. So with that being said, I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. You can track the storms here in Texas or anywhere in the country with our interactive weather radar on our website, texasstormchasers.com/radar. We'll be back here if necessary, especially if we have any significant weather in the state of Texas. Otherwise, those of you across the Mid-South, north towards St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois, Chicago, even Indianapolis tonight, please stay weather aware and have a way to receive warnings overnight in the event you have a fast-moving tornado moving your way tonight. That being said, thanks for joining us. Again, stay weather